Hello, this is Holly May from LionSong Process. I'm going to talk a little bit about creative process play and what I'm talking about when I use that phrase. So, all of the arts, whether, drama, dance, making things, visual art, music, all the different arts channels are given to us as ways to take things from our inner world, our inner experiences, our subjective, sort of our inner impressions and experiences of reality, and to make them visible in the outer world. So to concretize them, to crystallize them, to turn them into something that has a body, so to speak. So what I mean by that really is that our inner truths, the truth of what we know, that we are not yet conscious of, but we do in fact know it, in ourselves, in our unconscious layers, in our subconscious, in sort of the field aspect, the part of us that is, unified with all of consciousness everywhere in the whole cosmos. There's a lot of information in there. And there's a lot of different types of resonances, different types of experiences, imprints, energy signatures, you could say. So there's a lot in there. And these energies, these vibrations, these kind of qualities, in order for us to see them here in a little bit more, in a way that we can become conscious of them, it really helps to use the materials that we have in the physical world. And I include in that, obviously when you're doing art, it's very physical, and when you're using the body to dance, it's very physical. And, in theater, there's physicality and voice and the element of drama. And when you're writing, even the writing is very intangible in some ways, but you're still making an imprint, and you're making something visible and potentially audible if it's read out loud. Basically what we're doing is we're giving form and giving a skin to some quality of experience that we would like to see more, that we want to interact with a little more. So when we, for example, when we have a certain aspect of experience that we want to explore more, we can, as artists, as healers, as creators, as just human beings, we have this right and this capacity to use our ability to make things and play in the arts to give a body and a form to that space, to that quality that we're wanting to experience more consciously for whatever reason. So there are a lot of reasons to do this, of course, like if you think about expressive arts therapy, which is what I studied and what I've practiced for myself for a really long time now. Decades, I want to say. A little over a decade. That what we're doing there, the intention is to take our wounds, these painful experiences that are plaguing us and informing our decisions and making us do this and making us yell at our partners, or, making us depressed, these sort of mysterious things inside of us that are directing our behavior, to shine the light of conscious awareness on them through making them bigger and through making them visible, and really feeling into the quality of what is this theme, what is this disturbance, what is this, what is my depression? So I've suffered a lot with depression in my life, and wow, I made so many pieces of art of different kinds trying to give this depression even more body and make it even bigger so that I could understand it a little better. Like, what is this? What is it trying to say? What does it need to do? Why is it in this world? And that's really kind of the point of expressive arts, is to help us get stuff out and help it be visible and help us then see it and take ownership in a way, or be able to make a decision about how we relate to that quality. And there's, kind of a knack to that. There's a whole field, of course, called expressive arts therapy, with many, many, many different theories and practices and approaches, and it's just a very rich, rich world. Exploring, how to best use our arts channels, our natural ability to make things in different arts channels, to use that ability to help us heal. On the other hand, there is also, contained in creative process play, for me, is, so in addition to the ability to sort of give voice or give body or make certain signals that we want to explore even bigger, we can also do it. So what I'm trying to say here is that we don't only have to use it therapeutically per se. Not that I would want to draw a hard line anywhere in there, but creative process play can also be used to bring other things in that we might like to experience. So, for example, while it's not strictly about wounding or not, we may want to experience more abundance in our life. We may want to bring more abundance to the outer world, and to literally create it, to manifest it in our lives. Or we may want to experience more connection with God's source, with our inner divine nature. And we may want to experience more joy or more connection with others. Or, in other words, there are all kinds of resonances and spaces and qualities of experience that we can birth in this world, or we can devote ourselves to facilitating that these qualities come to the surface, and we can kind of build a bridge from the inner depths of, kind of like take things out, bring things out of the 0 point field, from the unmanifest state, and help bring them into something concrete and physical that we can then interact with and enjoy. So, for example, you may want to experience love and partnership, and you may think of that as meeting the right person. But it is also true to say that you can build and create a space and a container that sort of holds the vibration and the resonance that you want to experience with another person. And as you build that, you create kind of the energetic platform in this world in order for that to more easily also come into your life in the form of a partner. So it's not completely different from expressive arts, of course, in its therapeutic intent, but just to say there can also be a scope of manifesting and creating and becoming a conscious creator of experience. Part of that, I would say, is, expressive arts and creative process play can be used to work on relationships and to work on projects together. So this is like, if I have a creative partner, we're working on a business together, and we are now both trying to pull something from the unmanifest and, give it space and body and voice in this world. And we are running into different kinds of barriers or problems, my trauma, her trauma, or my negative beliefs, self-limiting concepts, hers. Also things in the outer scape, right? Financing, funding, laws, things that may show up as obstacles and barriers or difficulties to our birthing process. We can use creative process play to sort of help us bring our baby into the world, our creative baby. And so when I work with creative teams in organizations, of course, it's not always appropriate to be talking about source and the unmanifest level of creation or anything like that. But what we are doing is we are helping people who have an intention to bring a specific thing into the world, whether that's a product that's going to improve people's lives, and that's the intention, or whatever it is that they're co-creating, to really help those people use creative process play to help deliver what it is that they are bringing in. And there's a whole art and science to all of that as well. How do people work together, how to optimize the workflow, how to organize the work, how to work in a way that allows what is coming through to really come through and be successful and be born. And not just be born, not just come to exist, but be born in sort of a healthy, strong way. So helping people deliver their creative babies, and that can be teams working on a software project. It can also be, two women working on, a fashion label business that they are bringing into the world, or it can be, the city and county of such and such a place wanting to improve their relationships with themselves and each other, and have a more harmonious vibe. Whatever is the quality of experience that you want to bring to the surface, or a specific project and goal, something you're trying to birth, creative process play can be used to help bring that in. And it functions in a very similar way, which is to make visible what needs to be known. What is currently unknown, it makes it known, knowable, through giving it a thicker body and a thicker presence and a more distinct, oh, I see that now. So helping it become manifest, basically, and visible in form. And then we have the opportunity to relate with it, to change it, to have a different experience, to summon something else up, to make needed changes or whatever. And finally, I just want to talk about being an artist, because, it's not just about healing yourself or healing the wounds of the world, and it's also not just about bringing in, changes to how you manifest and, what you experience in your life and share with people. And it's also not even about projects per se that you might create as a business or in a workplace with someone else. It's also just about being an artist. What does that mean, right? It's so laden with associations, but it's a very important aspect of human life. And I am not saying that people who have no interest in being an artist should do it, but I would challenge everybody to just sort of think about the idea of what is it that is your magnum opus? What is it that is your great work, that it is your destiny to actually manifest here on planet Earth? Tall order, I know, and it brings up a lot of pressure and stress, or at least I feel that way often. And it may be terrifying to even think about it. But the truth is that each and every one of us is here with a purpose, with a specific blueprint, with a potential, with sort of who we really are. And this comes back to the natural self and, who we were made to be, and it's a lot like the ugly duckling story, a lot of us are those ugly ducklings until we discover one day, oh my God, the reason I didn't fit in with the rest of the ducklings is because I'm actually a swan. And it's not about a value difference between swans or ducks, It's kind of implied in there, but I don't mean it that way. It's more like just realizing the creature you are. You could also be a kitten born with a bunch of puppies or whatever. Or maybe you're even born with a bunch of people similar to you, but you just need to find what particular being you are and what you're here to do. Why did your soul decide to come in here? And what were your intentions, your original intentions, when you left the unmanifest and you came to this dimension, so to speak? what were you intending to do? What were you going to try to do? And it's not always something large and magnificent. Maybe we're just going to bring in a certain quality of awareness or presencing or witness or whatever. There really is no wrong or right answer to that. But I do believe that everybody has something that they intended to bring here. And that is their magnum opus, their sort of greatest potential. And the reason I connect this to being an artist is because artists often, like when we think about the great artists whom we, revere and love, and, they often overcame absurd levels of adversity to just get their thing into this world. And they served that muse no matter what, sometimes to the detriment of other things, it's true. But they had this level of devotion to bringing that to the surface. And they infused what they brought with their energy, their vibration, their message, you could say, their beauty, their specific vibration of their soul, their imprint. And they brought it to the world and they expressed it as art. I'm thinking of somebody like Brahms, who I love. Brahms, just the quality of Brahms, what he managed to bring to the surface. So you may or may not relate to the concept of being an artist, and that's okay. But since I do, and I know many people do, whether they fully realize it or not, there are many of us who came in with that imprint of, to be here in part as an artist. And what is it that would be your magnum opus? And creative arts and creative process play can help you do that. So that is the purpose of it also, to help you fully embody and fully bring the full extent of who you are and who you were meant to be and what you were meant to do here as art. Thanks for listening.